Hello folks, this is Sula speaking, and you're watching a commentary video for League of Legends, this one featuring Teemo, the Speedy Scout. In the last part of the video, I had gone back to base after an inconclusive fight against the other team's Pantheon, Mookie's Pantheon, and now I've returned to lane, and I'm going to continue laning here in the middle lane. Now, one of the things I did first was I immediately put down 2 mushrooms because I had some extra mana from going back to base. And like here, I was coming forward to harass Uberfish, but here I run afoul of the fact that the tower will turn to focus you if you've poisoned someone on the other team. And right there, I come extremely close to killing Uberfish. And I think, and one more auto attack, I think actually would have killed him. So in fact, if my flash had been up, I probably would have flashed after him and tried to get in one extra auto attack. Anyway, Mookie has been off trying to get kills in other lanes. This is sort of a habit of Mookie's playstyle that I've noticed because I've played so many games with him. So we see him coming up the river towards me, so I'm going to back off the tower, and I'm going to continue shrooming up all the area around me, all the likely paths someone will come through here, so that if we are going to have some kind of a team fight in mid, I'm going to have tons of shrooms around me. Anyway, it was really interesting in this game to see sort of the different play style going back and forth between Mookie and myself. Mookie likes to play very aggressively. He likes to leave the lane he's in over and over again and try to go to other lanes to try to get kills. Sometimes that works really very, very well. If he's able to get kills, he can snowball ahead. And with Pantheon, that can often be a good way to play, especially because Pantheon is not much of a late game champ. He's really someone who has to do well in the early and mid game. If he does well in the early game and mid game, he'll be really strong. But if he isn't able to get kills, he generally becomes pretty weak later on. So that's not necessarily the worst way to play Pantheon, but it was a real contrast in styles because I stayed in this lane and continued farming it, and I was able to get a lot more minion kills. Just two different ways of playing a solo champ here. Like right there, I dropped a mushroom on Mookie, and notice the slow effect. Because he jumped onto a mushroom, that's going to allow me to survive this, whereas otherwise I would die from that particular combo. So again, shrooms useful for guarding the entrances to the jungle, but they do have more uses other than that. So, and that was one example of it right there. So if Pantheon is going to jump on you and try to Heartseeker, you can simply drop a shroom on top of yourself and protect yourself that way. Anyway, on this trip back to base, obviously I had to go back to heal there. I decided to I've already gotten my first key item, which is Malady. This is an item that's very good on Teemo. It increases attack speed. Normally you don't want to build attack speed, but on Teemo it actually works pretty well because you'll keep re-poisoning the enemy every time that you get additional attack speed. And it also applies magic damage on top of that. So Malady is one of the items that you generally want to build on Teemo. No matter how you're building him, it's a useful item. The next item I was going to go towards was Madred's Bloodrazor. Again, also a useful item for Teemo because it applies on-hit effects with each time you hit someone. I guess that was a little bit redundant, but applies on-hit effects, has armor-piercing capability, and is just generally, it also gives you more attack speed, gives you a little bit of armor, just generally a good item to have on him. Anyway, here I'm going to shroom up around Dragon, because I'm expecting the next fight to be at Dragon, next team fight, or first real team fight, I guess. We haven't really had one yet. Anyway, Mookie went up to top lane. Now, if he had gotten a kill from doing that, that would have been a really good play, but it looks like Roland was able to dodge that attempted kill. So, because Roland dodged that move, it's actually going to be not as effective as it otherwise might have been. So anyway, right here, Uberfish comes forward, and I'm not sure if he realizes fully how how strong my Teemo is. I have absolutely no fear of his Nunu. If he stays in lane, I am going to beat him up very badly with my poison. So I'm gonna be happy to abuse him, and I'm gonna harass him back out of the lane. Now, once again here, I run afoul of the targeting system of the tower. It turned to focus me because of the poison. And now here Mookie comes in, and I saw him coming. I guess Seirun didn't see him coming. Once he entered that fight, Seirun was going to die. And I would have liked to have saved him, but there just wasn't anything I could do there. He was going to die. One thing that Seirun could have done would have been to run behind that mushroom that I placed there, and that's the slow from that mushroom might actually have been able to save him. So it didn't work out, but anyway, I guess he just didn't see Pantheon coming in. He would have needed to escape earlier. So anyway, I've largely stayed in this lane. You can see Mookie's been very mobile in moving around. I'm able to poison him there with an auto attack and one of Teemo's blinding darts. So I've got a lot of minion kills. And again, this is just not a great matchup for Pantheon. Teemo's going to win this matchup most of the time. He's just stronger in a sort of a pure laning back and forth than Pantheon. The only thing that Mookie can really do is try to burst me down with his Heartseeker, but in terms of harassment back and forth, I'm going to win. Now, again, notice the tower focuses on me because I poisoned Mookie, and that poison damage was ticking. So that's something you have to be aware of. Like right here, Mookie is pursuing me, and I'm not really sure why, because he's going to die if he comes forward to engage me. Because he's coming forward to engage me, I'm thinking something's up here. Like, why would he be coming forward to engage me? He's just going to die if he does that. So I figured that there were more champions on the way coming to support him. And in fact, I was right. Uberfish, Cynical Brit used the Shen ultimate to come in and join the fight. Now, with Shen and Nunu, I mean, frankly, I'm just stronger than these guys. I have a leveling advantage. I have an itemizing advantage over them. If they try to stay in the lane here with me, I'm going to beat them up. So even though it was 2v1, I was not afraid, and I was happy to, you know, go after these guys and continue laning back and forth with them. Anyway, I want to drop more shrooms. I'm actually running out of mana here. You can see, so I'm going to have to go back to base relatively soon. Because I don't have mana, I'm going to use one of my sight words right there for to ward up that that particular path, because I do want to have sight there. Meanwhile, I'm going to continue pushing this lane. I've just been sort of slowly pushing on this tower the whole game and farming up minions all the while. Keeping myself safe with mushrooms. There, the vision that we had on the river lets me know that Cynical Brit is coming. And again, I'm not afraid of this. If his Shen tries to stick around, he is going to die. Totally unnecessarily flash there, though. That wasn't needed. And again, I'm going to keep pushing on the tower. Let's see, why am I backing off here? I shouldn't have backed up. Oh, Mookie was coming, so that's why I'm going to back off. Ghost to try to get away. Shroom slows him down, and that's another relatively easy escape for Teemo. So, yeah, I mean, Teemo doesn't have a lot of escapability, but if you can use your mushrooms well, he can get out of some stuff. And yeah, like right here, I probably shouldn't have gone back to continue laning against Uberfish. He possibly could have dove me and killed me at the tower there. I mean, I was pretty low, but I guess he decided not to. So, yeah, I just needed to get out of it there. Anyway, I have 136 minion kills. That's the most in the game. I wanted to go back to base, but then I saw a fight breaking out here, so I realized if the team's going to fight, I have to get back in here. Unfortunately, I was a little behind the fight. If I had been up there closer, we probably could have gotten a kill on Uberfish. I don't know what Seirun's doing there. I'm not sure why he's attacking the tower with no minions. Anyway, so I would have liked to have been up there and in that fight, but with me being so low on health and so low on mana, I had to play very defensively. But I needed to be there. Also there, we saw that Cole's Akali was ready to charge into the fight. So glad I put down that sight ward. Gave us vision of him there, and that made us safer. Anyway, in terms of itemizing here, I'm going to buy Mercury Treads. Other good options for Teemo, sometimes people go for the attack speed boots. They are a strong option in terms of purely doing damage, but also makes you very vulnerable. I'm just not a big fan of attack speed boots in general. I think there are much easier ways to get attack speed. You can also go for cooldown boots as well. I've seen people do that. If you're playing an ability power Teemo and focusing on his mushrooms and his blinding dart to do damage, you can go for ability power and cooldown reduction. But again, I think that Merc Treads are generally the best option to go with, just because they help protect you. Teemo's very squishy. He's one of the squishiest champions in game. He has very little health, very little armor. So you really want to build some items that, you know, allow him to live a little bit longer. And Merc Treads helps with that. Anyway, here we have a team fight going on. Cynical Brit was caught out of position. Mookie jumps behind us, but Donsky has a great tornado from Janna that completely stops his stun on the shield, and then that allows me and the rest of the team to burst him down there. I think I was doing most of the damage. Although Ashen got the kill. Then Cynical Brit charges in. It was a decent taunt, but he was going into like a 4-on-2, so they weren't going to win that. Now Uberfish is still here defending the tower, and you can see I'm going to focus the tower. We know that their Caitlyn player is right over there on the right side. Their Caitlyn player is 0. So here he is, and now as soon as he shows up, we're going to go after him. I'm going to turn on Move Quick, and he's also fighting a 4v2, and he's not going to win that. So that was just should have backed off that fight. Like, these guys really need to back off and just give up this tower, because they're not going to be able to defend it. Or maybe with Cole coming in, they can defend the tower, but otherwise they can't. They don't want to keep coming in and engaging us here. You know, in these 4-on-2 situations. So anyway, we are going to be able to take that tower and score quite a few kills there. I think that we scored. It was either 3 or 4 kills there. I'm not 100% sure. And then now I'm going to take advantage of this chance to go through and mushroom up their jungle and drop mushrooms in all these bushes. Use up all 3 of my mushrooms. Go back to base, get more mana, and then I'll be able to start dropping more mushrooms after that because the cooldown will start recharging again. So anyway, that was a good fight for us. Really, I think the key play was Donsky getting that tornado that interrupted Mookie's stun, which allowed all of us to just keep attacking over and over again. Also, an interesting thing here, I just clicked W to turn on my move quick skill, and apparently I already had it on. So if you click W again while you have your move quick on, apparently it cancels it. I actually did not know that. So just make sure that you don't accidentally turn off your move quick if it's already running. You should pretty much have it running all the time. There's not really any excuse for you not to be having your move quick on. I would just always have it running because, it's useful to have 15% more move speed. You're going to be fast. Anyway, here I'm going to drop a sight word at Baron. Mushrooms are great, but sight word, you still need sight words anyway. Now, notice how earlier I was mushrooming up around Dragon. Now I'm going to be trying to mushroom up around Baron. That's because I'm anticipating the next big fight would be a fight around Baron. So I'm going to try to drop mushrooms on all the entrance routes into the jungle, or all the entrance routes through their jungle towards Baron, just in case we have a fight there. Anyway, here we were going to go for top tower, but then we saw Calls Akali heading towards us, and we were hoping that we could catch her in the jungle moving towards us, but looks like that's not going to happen. Anyway, notice how good our sight is. This is probably the biggest advantage of playing as Teemo, is you have great sight. Like, notice how we have sight all through the jungle. Anyway, down there in the bottom lane, there was a fight where Ashane was killed, but then Roland's Nasus was able to kill Mookie. And I honestly don't know the particulars of that because I was over here in this lane. Anyway, so now you can see their team is spread out all over the map. Cole is chasing Donsky, and he's been caught sort of out of position. So I'm going to try to focus him. Auto attack, blinding dart. We get a slow there from Roland, the Wither from Nasus. Cole protects himself by going invisible in that little Akali circle. So he gets out of the fight, but now Uberfish and Cynical Brit are entering it. Nice Warwick ult there from Seirun allows us to finish off Uberfish. Now we're going to continue attacking Zero's Caitlyn, and we're going to finish him off. Now we're pursuing Cynical Brit, and notice Pantheon's going to jump in behind us. Mookie slightly mistimes this because he jumps in behind us, and then they just surrender, which was not a little surprising, which was very surprising. Mookie said he was really surprised yet to the game. Apparently the other 4 players just initiated a surrender vote. So I don't really understand that. I'm not going to lie, I don't understand that. I think they scoring kills was 7-4, and they had almost all of their towers still up. I mean, no inhibs were down, no one had taken Baron, so to surrender that quickly, especially in a practice match where we're trying to just practice and get better, I don't get it. But in any case, game comes to a really quick end. So anyway, as far as going on there, fun Teemo game, short Teemo game. I would have liked to have continued playing and tested out a bunch of different stuff, but I think I did reasonably well. Everybody, let's see, Donsky had a lot of assists. Roland got ganked a couple times in top lane, but handled it reasonably well. Seirun did a pretty decent job jungling. On the other team, some misplaced ults. Cynical Brit had a mistaken ult once or twice. Zero was struggled a little bit in this game. Uberfish's jungling was solid, I think. And Cole, I think that this was the first or second time Cole had played Akali, and he did a pretty good job. So anyway, fun game, short game. I wish it hadn't ended quite so quickly, but in any case, it gives you a chance to sort of see how Teemo's played. And yeah, Teemo lanes very well against champions that are physical damage because he can blind them, and rely on their physical attack. Doesn't do very well against casters, but he does give you that map presence, and he's a funny little champion. So maybe give him a try. He is an interesting one to play. Anyway, thanks for watching. Thanks for listening, and I'll see you again another time.